I live in a quiet neighborhood on the edge of a small town. It's one of those places where people still wave when they pass you, and the loudest thing you usually hear at night is a stray dog barking in the distance. So when the police knocked on my door one evening in late October, I had no idea how close I already was to something terrifying. This story happened about 3 years ago, and even now, I still check my windows twice before sleeping. It started with small things. Little noises outside my house. Footsteps on the gravel when no one should have been there. And worst of all, the feeling that I was being watched. I live alone, so every sound stands out. One night around 1 a.m., I was on my couch watching a movie when I heard faint tapping on my living room window. Not knocking, more like someone brushing their fingers across the glass. I froze. The curtains were closed, but I could see a faint shadow behind them. A shape. A head. I muted the TV. My heart was pounding hard enough to shake my chest. Another swipe across the glass. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe. Then, silence. I waited almost 5 full minutes before slowly walking to the front door and turning on the porch light. No one was there. The street was empty. A raccoon, maybe. That's what I wanted to believe. But the next morning, I noticed something outside my window. On the dirt beneath the frame, footprints. Human. And big. I called my friend about it, and he told me it was probably a prank. I tried to believe him. 2 nights later, it happened again. This time, it was the sound of someone trying the back door handle. A slow metal rattle. Like someone was gently testing it, seeing if it was locked. I grabbed a knife from the kitchen and yelled, "Who's there?" The rattling stopped instantly. Then I heard fast footsteps running away through the leaves. I called the police that time. They arrived quickly but didn't find anything except more footprints near the woods behind my house. They told me to keep my doors locked and call again if anything else happened. Simple advice. Not very comforting. I didn't sleep that night. 3 days passed without anything strange happening, and I thought maybe whoever it was had moved on. I was wrong. It was around midnight when it happened. The worst moment of my life. I woke up to a loud bang from the kitchen. Not a sound from outside, from inside my home. I jumped up, grabbed my phone, and quietly opened my bedroom door. The hallway was dark, but I could hear heavy breathing coming from the kitchen. Slow. Deep. Human. I dialed 911 but didn't hit call yet. I peeked around the corner. There was a man standing in my kitchen. Tall. Broad shoulders. Dirty clothes. His back was facing me as he rummaged through my drawers like he owned the place. I stepped back and accidentally hit the wall. A tiny sound, but enough. He stopped moving. His head slowly turned. And he saw me. His eyes were wide and bloodshot. His expression didn't look surprised. It looked satisfied. I slammed my bedroom door, locked it, pushed my dresser against it, and hit the call button. The operator stayed on the phone with me while the man tried the doorknob. He jiggled it softly at first. Then harder. Then he started pushing on the door. The wood creaked under the pressure. He whispered something through the gap under the door. I couldn't understand the words, but I'll never forget the tone. Hungry. Cold. I heard the front door bust open seconds later. The police had arrived fast. The man ran. They chased him, but he vanished into the woods. Here's the worst part. The police believed he had been hiding around my house for weeks. They found a small spot behind my shed where he'd been sleeping. There were food wrappers, water bottles, even a blanket. He had been watching me. Studying my routine. Learning my movements. They never caught him. And to this day, I never open my curtains at night. I moved into my first rental house when I was 25. A small, cheap place. Old floors, bad heating, weird layout, but it was mine. The landlord warned me about one thing. Don't use the basement. It's unsafe. Door stays locked. He handed me the key but told me not to go down there for any reason. I didn't ask questions. I had no reason to. But the basement had other plans. The first night I slept there, I heard sounds from below. Soft shifting. Something dragging. I told myself it was pipes. Or the house settling. But the next morning, I noticed something disturbing. The basement door was unlocked. I was 100% sure I had locked it. I even remembered tugging the knob to check. I shrugged it off. That evening, I invited my friend Tyler over. While we were watching TV, he suddenly turned toward the hallway. "Bro, do you hear that?" I muted the volume. There it was again. Something shifting downstairs. Like someone shuffling across a cement floor. Tyler asked, "You got rats or something?" I told him the landlord said the basement was off limits. That made him more curious. He walked to the basement door and pulled the knob. "It's unlocked," he said. My stomach dropped. I stepped beside him and locked it myself. We tried to ignore it. Later that night, after Tyler left, I walked down the hallway. And froze. The basement door was open. Wide open. The darkness behind it felt thick. Then slowly, the door began to swing closed on its own. I slammed it shut, locked it, shoved a chair under the doorknob, and didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next day, I called my landlord. "Someone keeps opening the basement door," I told him. "Is there a second entrance down there?" He paused for a long time. Then said, "I'll be there tonight." He showed up around 7 p.m. When I let him in, his eyes went straight to the basement door. "Has it happened again?" I nodded. He unlocked the door and slowly pushed it open. A cold draft washed over us. We went downstairs. The basement was big, empty, dark. Only a few old boxes in the corner. But something felt wrong. Like the air had weight. The landlord walked to the far wall and stared at something I couldn't see. Then he whispered, "Go upstairs. Now." I waited at the kitchen table until he came up, locked the basement door, and sighed deeply. "I should have told you earlier," he said. The last tenant heard the same noises. Doors opening. Things moving. He swore someone was living down there. I felt sick. But then the landlord said something even worse. It wasn't a person. I asked him what he meant, but he refused to explain and left quickly. That night, I slept with all the lights on. At around 3 a.m., the chair I shoved under the doorknob slid across the floor on its own. I heard it. Loud. Then the doorknob turned. Slowly. I didn't wait. I grabbed my keys, ran to my car, and left the house. I never went back. I ended my lease the next day and hired a mover to get my things. The landlord only texted me one thing afterward. "You did the right thing leaving." This happened when I was 17. My parents weren't home for the weekend, so I had the house to myself. It was a Friday night, cold and quiet. I was up late playing games when I heard the dog barking in the backyard. He never barked like that. Not the deep, constant bark, his danger bark. I went to check, but from the living room window, I couldn't see anything, just darkness and the reflection of my own face in the glass. I turned around to go back. And that's when I heard tapping. Light. Deliberate. Right behind me. On the same window. I turned back slowly. At first, I saw only my own reflection. Then it shifted. Because something was standing outside. A face. Pressed against the glass. White skin. Wide eyes. A smile stretched too far, I screamed and fell backward. The dog barked even louder. I ran to the hallway and grabbed my phone. When I peeked back into the living room, the face was gone. But the tapping continued, now on the window beside the back door. He was moving around the house. Fast. I called 911. The operator told me to lock myself in a room. I did. I hid in my parents' bedroom and waited. I heard footsteps outside the door. Slow. Controlled. Bare feet on wood. They stopped right outside the door. Then came heavy breathing. Low. Excited. Then the man whispered through the door. I saw you. The doorknob turned. I did. Then the front door burst open downstairs, the police. Footsteps ran. Fast. They chased him, but he disappeared into the woods. The police found smudged handprints all over the windows. But the worst part was the message he wrote on the back window. I've been waiting for you. We moved houses 2 months later. They never caught him. Which story scared you the most? Comment below and subscribe for more true horror stories.